The first rays of morning slip through the curtains. Your burner phone vibrates on the nightstand. Renata, your girlfriend, lies awake, staring at the ceiling, eyes wide. You squint at the phone, the message hurting your eyes. 7 a.m. Don't be late. You take a deep breath and glance over at Renata. Last night, she threatened to leave you if you ever got back in with the cartels. But what choice do you have? Your 3-month-old baby, Isabella, is fast asleep on the cot. You can barely feed her or pay for her diapers, and now you're behind on rent. 1 week from now, you could be evicted. There's no other option. I have to go, you tell Renata. She ignores you and rolls over. She knows how this goes. And she's right. You were just 12 when you did your first lookout job for the cartel, about 5 years ago. $150 for a week of basic surveillance. A halcone, or a falcon, watching from the shadows. It was a lot of cash for a kid, but you swore you would never do it again. A few months were more than enough. Those other lookout kids were bad news. High on meth around the clock, assault rifles in their hands. Not exactly a good combo. Not all of them were crazy. A few were like you, giving most of their cash to their parents. Yours are both gone now. Mom, breast cancer. Dad, crushed in a mine shaft. It was a cartel-run operation. Compensation, $0. The media calls it cartel diversification, and they're not wrong. It's not like the old days. Now they're involved in almost everything. It's a slippery slope. First it's surveillance, after that kidnapping and murder, and El Niño Sicario, a child assassin. Children are easy to manipulate. They follow orders. You've seen it with your own eyes. They will be absolutely ruthless for a pat on the back and some cash. They don't realize that they are expendable. You crack the front door. Light floods the bedroom. You take one last look at Isabella. Your hand tightens on the handle. You're almost through the door. Diego. Renata has tears in her eyes. Her cheeks are red and flushed, like you told her last night. Just one job and you're out. This will pay for the rent and give you some time to look for work. I love you, she whispers. That's all you needed to hear. You step outside and freeze. A black Toyota Hilux is already waiting, engine running. I said 7, snarls the driver, maybe the boss. It's 7:02. You know better than to talk back. There's a guy in the passenger seat. He looks like the muscle. Scars mark his face. Tattoos cover his neck. There's no smile, no good morning. He throws a phone onto your lap. Another burner. You're told that today is an important job. Do well and you might get a promotion. You haven't told them that this is a one-off. You wouldn't dare. About 30 minutes into the drive, the guy in the passenger seat turns around. He lifts his phone and he points it straight at you. Smile. And the phone clicks. He says it's for their employment records. Both of them start laughing like it's an inside joke. You were told this was a surveillance job. You wait, you keep your eyes open, same thing you did when you were 12, but this time there is more money involved, $400 for the day. They needed an older kid, someone with experience. This is serious work today. You're dropped off at the end of a residential street, a row of sun-bleached houses, every window barred. It's dead quiet except for a chained dog barking somewhere behind a fence. Across the street, a woman steps out with a little boy. She stops beside an old beat-up Honda. She looks at you and then the truck and quickly turns away. She rushes her son into the backseat. Her movements stiff and urgent. Her eyes stay locked on the sidewalk. Anywhere but you. The engine starts and she pulls away. She deliberately turns her face in the opposite direction. The guy with the tattoos tells you what to do. If a car pulls into a house, you snap a photo, and then a single crying emoji sent to the only number saved in that burner phone. That's it. You don't move, don't call anyone, don't leave. How hard could it be? The men drive away, leaving you alone in the open street. Suddenly, there's a shift in the air. You feel exposed, eyes watching you from behind every barred window. An hour passes, nothing. The sun beats down heavy on your face. No cars, no people. Then a ringing jolts you. You almost jumped out of your skin. An ice cream cart pushed by an old man in a baseball cap. A face flashes behind the curtain in one of the houses and disappears. The bell keeps ringing. The ice cream man spots you. His hand slaps the bell, silencing it, and he turns the cart around. Something isn't right. You think of the money, the $400. 11:17 a.m. It's still quiet, and then in the distance you hear car doors slamming. There's a gunshot, and then another. It's only a few streets away. Panic grips you. Are you supposed to move? Send a message? Another shot, and then the revving of an engine. Your heart pounds, tires squeal. The black Toyota Hilux swings around the corner, barreling straight toward where you're standing. Get in! Sweat drips down the tattooed guy's forehead. Your eyes catch the pistol in his lap. You slide into the back seat, heart still hammering. The engine roars as the Hilux peels away, tires screaming in the asphalt. "Well done," he says once you're out of the street. You didn't do anything, yet somehow it feels like you did. Still, $400. They hand it to you like it's nothing. You're at a roadside taco stand, middle of nowhere. The men are in a celebratory mood, laughing, eyes glued to a video on the phone. The driver slides it toward you. A man being executed in the street. They don't say who it is, but you know he mattered. These days, the cartels post videos like this one on Facebook and TikTok. Killing has become entertainment, a recruitment tool. And right now, you are holding the proof. The message is clear to kids like you. Kill and your life means something. Status, money, family. You once read that 30,000 children now work for the cartels in your country, vulnerable ones. And somehow that includes you. If the choice is farming or breaking your back as a laborer for a few dollars a day, you understand the pull. And if you get caught, you're tried as a juvenile. That's why kids are the new frontier. These guys drop you off outside of your house at close to 2:30 p.m. Keep the phone, they tell you. You start to say you won't need it. The driver waves his hand dismissively. $400 sits on the table. Renata forces a smile, but her eyes drop to the phone still in your hand. She doesn't like that you kept it, and neither do you. 3:10 p.m., the phone buzzes on the table right next to the pile of unpaid bills. Renata shakes her head, silent. You can't even look at her. You could ignore it, maybe you will, but you relent. 30 minutes, we'll be waiting outside, don't be late. You just hand back the phone and tell him that you're busy. Renata doesn't look convinced. This time, there's another kid in the back. You recognize him from the neighborhood. No older than 13 or 14. His parents were both addicts. He is wired, teeth grinding. You're almost relieved that he doesn't remember you, yet. There's a problem, the driver says, a big one. You try to tell him that you're out, but he cuts you off. It's too late for that. You can quit tomorrow. He leans in. The woman with the kid this morning, she saw everything, every face. That guy that was executed was a cop on payroll, and he turned. And that was his own fault, but now she's gone to the police. A source inside the department said that the woman will testify as a witness. She saw everyone, and that means you. Too many people have been snitching lately. That reflects badly on the boss. Without order, the whole system collapses. You drive past your old school. Kids and parents walk away from the playground. Some stop at the stand where an old man sells tostadas. That's all you want, a dad taking his daughter to school, a normal life, the life you never had. I'm not hurting her. The tattooed guy cuts you off again. You won't have to. He nods at the guy next to you, the young Sicario. All you have to do is drive the getaway car. Film the execution with the burner phone. This isn't a regular hit. It's a statement. Order must be restored. Out in the open. Violent. Designed to go viral. The exact effect they want. The Sicario sitting next to you still hasn't spoken. He'll be using an Uzi submachine gun. It's got to look frightening, dramatic. You're shaking your head. This isn't you. The tattooed guy stares at you, unflinching. "How are Renata and Isabella?" he asks. It's like a gut punch. This time around, it's $500, and you don't even have to pull the trigger. About an hour out of town, you're about to switch cars when the tattooed man produces a small vial. A tiny spoon is pressed under your nose. Glassy, stinging, probably methamphetamine. You don't take drugs, but you do now. The high will last for hours. You tell yourself this can't be real. It's just you and the other young guy in the car. He won't stop talking. "Miguel," he says, "nice to meet you." He doesn't really remember you. He tells you that this will be his 8th murder. It gets easier, he says. $750 a time, $1,000 for this one, a high priority hit. They trust him, he's reliable. And it beats his old job. He used to pick tomatoes for $6 a day, 10 hours in the hot sun. He started at just 9 years old. Just like the 2.1 million other Mexican kids doing illegal hard labor. He tells you he found the cartel when he was at a friend's house playing video games at 3 a.m. Someone invited them to an in-game event with the promise of money. Business at the U.S. border has never been better. Anything from $5 to $39 billion flows through each year, just for drugs. Another $13 billion comes from people smuggling, and that's a lot of money to go around. Cartels, dirty cops, corrupt politicians, everyone reaching for whatever trickles down. And at the very bottom, the kids. The 12, 13, and 14-year-olds. They get them with the recruiting videos posted on TikTok or Instagram, kids posing with guns, older guys with thick diamond rings stacking bricks of dollar bills by a pool. It doesn't fool you, it never did. Barely any of those kids will make it out alive. or they'll end up in prison. There's a reason they call you pollitos de colores, the colored chicks sold at the market. Cute, bright, usually dead before they get old. They're actually really cool, Miguel says. They look after you like family. You look at the Uzi resting in his lap. He is going on and on about the car that he'll buy one day, about the big boss, a multimillionaire who grew up farming just like him. Still gritting his teeth, grinning, he looks up and he jokes, "Thank God for the American consumer." He won't last long, you know that for certain. The woman finishes work at the factory at 5:30 p.m. She picks up her son at her aunt's, and then they're back home by 6:20. All of this information comes courtesy of the local police department. "Don't hurt the boy," you tell Miguel. His reply doesn't exactly instill confidence. "It's an Uzi. I'll try." He knows you want to get out of this. It's written all over your face. He pulls his phone from his pocket, presses a button, and drops it into your lap. You watch the road while your eyes flick down to the screen. A video, a teenager tied to a chair. He can't be older than 18. He's gagged. One eye is swollen shut. He shakes his head, terrified. A masked man in gloves steps into view. He holds up a piece of paper. "Traitor." He drops it into the teen's lap and then produces a small container. The teen squirms. The man pours a liquid over his head. It's not water. Smoke rises. Skin burns red. He writhes, screaming silently into the gag. You can barely focus on the road. Meth and adrenaline are hammering into your chest. Miguel takes his phone back. A told-you-so expression on his face. "That kid," he says, "messed up a job. That's all. Do you get it now?" You get it. This job. That's it. And then you're out. You should take Renata and Isabella and get out of town. Move somewhere far away, maybe Merida. Renata has relatives there who sell hammocks to tourists. She's never told you the full story. Once she hinted they do illegal things too. They're connected. 6:15 p.m. Miguel passes you a black bandana to hide your face. He puts on a red one. The Uzi is squeezed between his legs, his jaw clenched. He looks genuinely excited. He tells you to make sure you get everything. He'll move to the side so you can film the death part. "Don't miss the money shot," he laughs. The Honda pulls into the street. Miguel's hand tightens around the gun, the other on the door handle. The boy gets out first, the woman just behind. Miguel scrambles into the street, running a few steps. Gunfire erupts, bullets spraying everywhere. The woman drops almost instantly. You grip the phone, your hands trembling and sweaty. You close your eyes, trying to block out the sound. She lies in the road, still moving, crawling toward her son. By some miracle, he hasn't been hit. Miguel fires again, bullets tearing into her body. She stops moving. Your hands shake so badly you almost drop the phone. "Just get back into the car," you urge Miguel. He grabs the kid by the wrist and drags him over, kicking and screaming. You have to do something, anything. You shake your head. You didn't sign up for kidnapping. You refuse to move. The kid is terrified, eyes wide, face pale, curtains twitch, people peer through the gaps. Blood pools in the street. "They'll kill you for this, Diego. I swear they'll kill you," rasps Miguel. Eventually, he drops the boy. He lands in the street. Miguel throws himself into the car. You slam the accelerator, tearing out of the street. You rip the bandana off as soon as you're in the clear. Miguel looks angry and scared. He knows punishment is coming. The plan was always to take the boy. They do it all the time. Thousands of these kidnapping extortion cases happen every year in Mexico. Most never make the news. It's just a bargaining chip. Someone's name will be scrubbed from an investigation. Children are valuable currency, and you just lost one. Miguel checks his phone. There's another location to go to. You dump the car, and someone you've never seen before picks you up. No one says a word. The guy drops you off at your place, and he and Miguel drive away. That $500? You didn't even think to ask for it. Too much adrenaline coursing through your veins. Renata can see the fear in your face as soon as you walk inside. You're still shaking. You tell her to pack. You are leaving tonight. It's safer if she doesn't know anything. Darkness falls. You keep scanning the street through the blinds, waiting for headlights. The phone hasn't rung. There's been messages. You did everything they asked, everything. And you still have their video on your phone. Renata's watching the news. A woman was brutally gunned down in the street near the site where an off-duty policeman was killed this morning. She was a witness to his murder. Cartel business. Investigators are saying an automatic weapon was used. And in broad daylight, it was an execution, a statement. A detective tells the camera that witness intimidation won't work. He's wrong. It does work. It always works. Renata slowly turns her head, staring at you. She can see it in your face. You just shake your head. You'll explain later, not now. The burner phone buzzes. Come and get your payment. The coordinates are below. Maybe you're worried over nothing. Maybe you're just paranoid. Miguel might have tried to kidnap the boy to impress the cartel. He obviously wasn't thinking straight. If kidnapping was the plan, they would have told you, wouldn't they? But why did it take so long to send a message? Miguel looked genuinely afraid in the car on the way back. Renata won't act unless she knows everything, so you tell her everything. She doesn't react as badly as you feared. You never should have gone out this morning. She told you that countless times. But the rest isn't your fault. Instead of yelling, she wraps her arms around you. You feel like crying, but you fight it. You have plans to make. Renata makes some calls. Her relative in Merida knows a certain kind of people, not cartels, a family-run network that smuggles people across the border. No drugs, no violence, just smuggling. She gets off the phone. $10,000 for the both of you, another $2,000 for Isabella. You'll work off the debt in the US. A route that takes you door to door through a tunnel to a safe house somewhere in California. $12,000. That's surprisingly cheap for something so risky, especially with babies. They'll do it as a favor as long as you put a little money up front. Renata hesitates and then admits she's been hiding her grandmother's wedding ring. She was saving it for when you got married. It must be worth at least $800, and you've got about $470 in cash. With a suitcase and a small backpack each, Isabella in Renata's arms, you open the door and check the street. Clear. No one speaks during the drive to the border. It's about a 2-hour drive. The old guy driving doesn't even introduce himself. It's close to midnight when you pull off the highway and into what looks like an industrial park. There's an abandoned factory. The guy drops you off outside the gates. Another man steps out of the dark. You follow him around the back of the factory and onto a narrow dirt track. He kneels, pulling aside a bundle of dead branches. There's a hole underneath, away to the other side. You crouch, clutching Isabella tight against your chest, lowering yourself into the tunnel. It is filthy and cramped. Soil trickles from the ceiling onto Isabella's face. She jerks in your arms. She lets out a cry. "Shut that baby up!" The man growls behind you. Thankfully, she stops after a minute. The passage widens as you move forward, 6 feet high now, reinforced with wooden beams, construction lamps on the walls. There's an old fan for ventilation. At the far end, a ladder leads up to a round metal plate. A dark figure stands up above it, holding it open. You climb up. On the other side, it's pitch black, just an empty space. You step out and you take your first breath of air in the United States. Hola, Renata and Miguel? You feel a little better knowing that he has your names. Renata's relatives really helped. You owe them big time. A car waits for you around the corner. Isabella sleeps most of the journey, waking only once to be fed. The border lights fade behind you, Mexico disappearing in the rearview mirror. Renata yawns and passes Isabella into your arms. She closes her eyes, but there is no way you'll sleep. Not until your family is safe behind 4 walls. You keep heading north past stretches of nothing on each side, and then gas stations or warehouses with security lights lighting up empty parking lots. Every now and then you see a Border Patrol SUV on a ridge above the freeway, its windows blacked out. You pray that no one pulls you over. Get sent back home and you're dead. Well, maybe. Now the drugs are wearing off. You really start to question if the fear is paranoia. But if that's true, why has no one contacted you? You press on, further north. The driver keeps glancing down at his phone, then casts a quick sideways look at you. You catch his eye. "It's nothing," he says. "Almost there." You're not even sure where you're going. The guy pulls off the highway onto what looks like a mountain road, thick forest on each side. Renata wakes up, asking for Isabella. She's been great so far, sleeping all the way. A wave of tiredness hits you. You roll down the window for some fresh air. The air is cool here, wherever you are. It's beautiful. It smells like pine. Trees everywhere, spreading for what feels like miles. You never thought California would be so green, so quiet. The driver slows down. You pass a disused garage and the remains of a shack at the foot of a gravel track. Stones crunch under the tires, the headlights lighting up the trees. You turn a corner, and then the road seems to end. There's nothing here. This doesn't feel right. The driver can sense your confusion. He says you're close to LA. There's police roadblocks scattered across the region. It's not safe. You need to lie low for the night and then you'll be taken to the city tomorrow. He points to what looks like an old barn. You step out of the car. It is pitch black. You flick on your phone's light. You grab the suitcase from the trunk and then make your way toward the barn. Renata follows, Isabella now waking in her blanket. Her babbling the only sound apart from the branches of trees blowing and cracking in the wind. The door is heavy. You look back at the driver. He scans the area and gives you a nod. You push the door open and step inside. You look up. Half of the roof is missing. Weeds and grass are growing inside. Renata rests Isabella on a bench and looks for a light, disappearing into the darkness with her phone. The driver steps in behind you. The air shifts. You can feel a chill on your neck. Chucho sends a message. He growls. "Chucho?" He holds his phone up to your face, your picture in the back of the Toyota this morning. He shoots Renata first. You can't see anything, just a muzzle flash, and then a thud as she hits the ground. You don't even try to run. You don't fight. You just lose. They win. They always win. The driver types into his phone, "What should I do with the baby?" Isabella stares at a blanket full of stars through the hole in the roof, her tiny fingers reaching out, grasping at the air. Far across the border, Chucho is still awake, his wife and child sleeping next door on an old mattress. Recruitment, managing kids, it doesn't pay well, but after today he is surely up for a promotion. His phone buzzes, a message about the baby. He doesn't respond. The baby doesn't matter. Only the guy's phone matters. Chucho swipes through a long line of WhatsApp messages. He finds the one he's looking for. Sebastian, a young kid he's been talking to, sending recruitment videos. Sebastian is ready. He is primed. Chucho taps out a message, 7 a.m., don't be late. Now go check out why Mexico doesn't get rid of cartels, to see how powerful they really are, or click on this video instead.